Hello Darklings, I'm back with Sketchbook Show and Tell number 19. So we've got some kind of fun stickers on the outside. It's how I can kind of distinguish the sketchbooks from each other. Fifth Avenue is the place where I get my tattoo supplies for work. Since I'm a tattoo artist for a living, I don't just get paid to look cool. And Salt Lake Film Society is one of my favorite places. It's where I see a lot of indie movies. So this sketchbook was from the 13th of May 2019 to the 20th of October 2019. So this one went fairly fast. These are stickers of my designs. These are my drawings that I got turned into stickers. Got some goodies from Rain Tower. I was trying to plot out a big sketchbook that didn't, like something in the sketchbook for a painting that didn't exactly pan out this way. I ended up doing something completely different in oils. And what the Victorians would call a vile, ill-tempered, and thoroughly wretched little creature is still very funny to me. A lot of times I really will just half-finish sketches and never get around to finishing them. This was a sticker that was a gift from somebody. So for those of you who have investigated my book, Living in the Lost Spaces, or any of my zines, that I have digital copies available on my Etsy, this 4-page comic ended up being in there, but I did this in brush pen. And this bit is based on an actual dream that I had when I was a kid, including images that I was able to remember of my dad's house, where I lived for a good chunk of my childhood. So this is what I remember of this dream room. And there is actually a 4th page. It's just I had to skip a page. The Invincible Czars are a band that was doing their own original scores for silent films. This is for the 1925 version of Phantom of the Opera. Pioneer Theatre Company, Grease. I don't actually like that musical very much, and seeing it on the stage was no better than seeing it as a film. Again, a lot of half-finished drawings. That happens with great frequency. Sometimes I really just collect flyers from various places. From a local used bookstore. I spelled do wrong. It was supposed to be Gods and Monsters, except I don't speak French, and I spelled do wrong, which is very embarrassing, but it was a fun little gargoyle creature. This is from a 1930s stage production of A Midsummer Night's Dream with Vivian Lee as Titania. This was in the back of my phone case for a long time. I used to get clear phone cases and then do original art and then put them into the back so I'd have my own thing. And you can kind of see, I guess, that I had like a silverish paint on this little halo behind him, but this is when I was going through a big Vampire Chronicles binge, and so I did a sketch of Lestat being the fabulous bitch he is. I ended up liking Hosier a lot more than I thought. Crystal Skull. I have a fondness for the poem The Lady of Shalott by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and so I did this based off of an outfit I wore. And these are also things available in my book. The link for my Etsy is in my description as always, but again, these are brush pen sketches. I couldn't tell if I liked that or hated that. This is from Ma. I didn't particularly like that movie. And I meant to do this as something to put in the back of a phone case, and I didn't like it very much, so I didn't do that. But I still finished the little watercolor sketch with a quote from Terry Pratchett. Booksmart is a very fun comedy. So I went to Europe for 2 weeks in June of 2019. And so this is this was a train ride from Prague to Kutná Hora to see the Sedlák ossuary, which was a cool place. And this is pretty much one of the very few drawings I did in those 2 weeks. I don't use my sketchbook very much when I travel. I did this on a train, I think, and then I ended up redrawing it digitally so it was more even, and then used it for one of my zines, which was in my book. And then this was a chandelier in one of the places my friend and I had brunch in Germany. And I think this is from Cambriel. This was a train ticket for when we were in going to Leipzig. This is like a little map of Prague. We went to the Hemingway bar. Prague is one of my favorite cities in the world. Unfortunately, when I was doing this big nightmare thing, because I was rereading Maggie Stiefvater's The Raven Cycle, and there's some like nightmarish raven creatures in it, and my pen exploded and left this big blob when I was working on this on an airplane. And I did this on the flight home, and then this was my wristband from going to WGT. And this was from the botanical gardens outside of Berlin. Unfortunately, I was so sick from the heat, I couldn't really enjoy it. I felt very bad for dragging my friend down because she wanted to see the botanical gardens, and the heat made me really sick. This was our little public transport. This was the fine we got because we couldn't figure out where we were supposed to get our bus passes for going around Prague, and so we got a fine of 800 kroner. And as it turns out, that's not very much money. And this was from the Sedlak ossuary. But I do love Prague. I think it's a beautiful city, and that was the second time I'd gone. The first time was in 2011. But this was a pass for 3 days, and public transportation in Europe is far better than it is in the U.S. And this was seeing David Lynch's Dune at an 11 p.m. late night showing from the Tower Theater, and that movie is still ridiculous. My friend and I were still kind of jet lagged from coming back to Europe because that was like a day after we got back. And then this was a character from one of my stories. This is Kara, because I was having trouble finishing the story, so I drew her instead. And then 2019 was the summer of Good Omens. I watched Good Omens probably 10 times last year, which was great because that book has been one of my favorites since 2009, and to have it get this really wonderful live, like 6-hour miniseries adaptation just fills me with absolute glee. This was planning out a much larger comic that I ended up doing digitally, and I was trying to map it out, and I'm not a comic artist, and so I'm not very good at putting comics together. I don't know what I'm doing. And this is stuff from when I was at WGT. And so I was trying to map it out, but the whole time I'm sitting here doing these little sketches, I'm like, I don't actually know what I'm doing. Which isn't really that weird, I guess. And so I was trying to do this whole 9-page comic, which for me is a gigantic undertaking. It took me 3 months to do it. So Black Dynamite was a very, very weird movie. And Midsummer, I didn't see the director's cut in the theater, but I felt like I was in that theater for 3 years. I did like the movie. It just took an eternity. But it was still quite fun. Strange Woman Perfume. Maria costume design, I've gotten some fun like corset style stuff from her. Bottle Rocket, I hated. I can't tell if I like or hate Wes Anderson. I've seen a lot of his movies, and I still can't tell how I feel about them, but I hated Bottle Rocket a lot. I thought it was a horrible waste of time. So I did Crowley, so I might as well do a Xerophil. Again, this is from when I was at WGT. Creations by Magi, she makes nice stuff. This is again for Strange Women Perfume. This was fun. This is in dip pen. I really like it when I actually get the wherewithal to finish drawings in my sketchbook, because there's a lot of them that are unfinished. Reefer Madness was preposterous. Watermelon Woman was not really my favorite thing, but I did think it was a very good movie. I just was not paying attention because I was super sleep deprived, which happens when you go to late night movies. Crawl, Alexander Aja is a director I'm very fond of, and as far as like disaster movies with alligators, that one was pretty high tension. I appreciated it. This was kind of a really shitty comic. 2019, I read a lot of Discworld books in a very short amount of time. I read probably 50 books, maybe a little more than 50 books in 3 months. I was really just binging on the book thing. This was from Alphonse Mucha Museum in Prague. This pretty much described my 2019 goal, which was summer 2019 mood, Good Omens, iced coffee, Discworld, and dressing like a grandmother by way of fairyland. I don't deal well with heat I really do prefer winter, not because I like snow, but because I can wear lots and lots of layers and be a shapeless void, compared to in the summer where I feel sick constantly, like I have the flu, because I have no heat tolerance. This was a really terrible sketch of Rupert Everett from Cemetery Man. This was a slightly better sketch of Crowley. I didn't do pencil on these first. I usually get better proportions if I do at least a basic pencil sketch to make sure everything's in the right place. I can't remember what I was doing with this. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is a movie that I really didn't like the first time. I was judging it very harshly because the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books were so much a part of my childhood. And when I watched it again, I appreciated it a little bit more because the audience is not really people in their 20s, it's people in their early teens. Again, very Discworld obsessed. So this was Jeremy Irons as the patrician Havelock Vetinari in the Color of Magic miniseries, which is not a phenomenal miniseries, but I find it very amusing for those that are new to Discworld. Mumford & Sons was an interesting concert. The crowd was embarrassing, and so my friend and I didn't actually stay the entire time. I was going to do a comic here, and then I forgot what I was doing and never did anything with it. Ordering something from Blood Milk. To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything. Julie Newmar is a movie that has aged better than I would have expected, given everything about it. It's not perfect, but it has aged better than I would have thought. This was ink sketch. It's kind of just okay. Ready or Not, it's very, very fun. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. The sketchbook has a lot of random shit I printed off of Tumblr. I do like keeping business cards from when I order from independent businesses. This is from Nui Clothing Atelier, which I probably pronounced wrong. I'm bad at words. This is a Children Mask from the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell miniseries. This is another very terrible comic because that whole summer of 2019, I was just like, I'm going to watch a lot of Shakespeare adaptations and I'm going to read a lot of Discworld, and all my coworkers were tired of hearing about it. And this was a fun little comic because I was really, really wanting it to be fall because I was sick of feeling sick all the time because of the heat. Again, Good Omens doodles. Cannibal the Musical, I was a little baffled by. I didn't really like over much. It wasn't bad. But Siren Call Vintage, I get a lot of good clothes from her. This was the Strahov Gallery in Prague. This was a fun place. I went there when I was 18, and it was good to go there again when I was 26. This is based off a really weird dream. One of my online friends sent this to me. I got to meet her in Germany, and she's even cuter in person, so thank you. Funny little dragonfly dragon. Let's see what else we got in here. Dracula, the musical, it was a musical. This was a very independent production put on by the local university, and this was actually pretty fun. It Chapter 2, I did not particularly like that much. I was not that impressed by it. The Nightingale was super depressing. It reminded me of a lot of things that made me super depressed. It was a good movie, but it was not a pleasant watch at all. This is when I was initially planning out some bookcase necklace ideas, and I couldn't tell if any of them worked or not. This is when I was doing miniatures, and I don't know if this worked or not either. And this was when I was planning out my Inktober prompts for that year, and I was just writing out a ton of different ideas from Scotland and Ireland, and that was kind of fun. Haunt. This one's kind of fun. This was like a Shudder film that I saw in the theater with my friend. I kind of put it down as what 31 wished it was, because I hated 31. Like, I like Rob Zombie movies, but 31 was not impressive. This was when I was planning out some more miniature ideas. I don't know if these worked or not. I did do a little lantern that's a study, and this was, I think, how I was trying to plan out how I did the typewriter, that I ended up just sort of guessing on how to do it. I don't know. I was trying to do a castle. I don't know. I have all kinds of random schemes. I don't know how I pull them off, because sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And this is what my sketches look like. I can't even tell what's going on with them most of the time. Rabid, 1977, Cronenberg's original film, is interesting. Cagney was a very, very long play. I thought it was good, but it was very long, and I have never seen a James Cagney film, so I had no idea who he was. But it was interesting, and it reminded me I'm impressed by tap dancing. I saw Ghost again. That was the second time I'd seen Ghost, and I caught a pic they threw out in the audience and dish and all this stuff, and I actually got a ticket, which was nice. I like having tickets to glue in here. Nice little quick sketch. Took maybe an hour of Bela. And the Addams Family animated film has a lot of hate attached to it, but I thought it was quite fun. I thought it was cute. I thought it was amusing. I ended up doing a little fawn bust in polymer clay and it was okay. I was really lucky because there was a big earthquake and that fell down because that whole shelf got ripped out of the wall, but the dome around my little fawn lady was strong enough to withstand the fall. And this, I was trying to do something with this lantern I found in an antique mall, and I was trying to plot out how to make a couch, and I didn't actually make the couch. I just made lots and lots and lots and lots of tiny books. An October evening is a local event that features a bunch of short films from local filmmakers in addition to fashion shows, burlesque performances, and all that good stuff. It's very, very fun. La Traviata is one of those operas that you have heard several movements from and just don't realize it. I do like going to the opera when I can because I grew up seeing operas. This is kind of funny because this is a bookstore that I used to go to in Chautauqua, New York growing up, and they closed. But there was a book that I read that I bought there like 12, 15 years ago, so ages and ages and ages ago, for $1. And this had just been left in the front of the book for years and years and years until I read it. And then this was a really lovely little drawing from my friend that I knew from the internet. And I don't know what's in here. I never know what's in the back pocket. I never know what's in the back pocket. Oh, there was my ticket from WGT. And some lovely postcards for from Moon and Serpent Jewelry. She makes beautiful stuff. I don't know what this is from. Oh, Zoltar. I always liked those really campy, stupid Zoltar things. And this is a business card from my friend Cinnamon. I miss her. But this was her her business card. I do miss her a lot. This was more stuff from For Strange Women. So they do little tiny perfume samples. What's this? Oh, and then my friend sent me a lovely little letter and I stuck it back in here. I never remember the stuff that I store at the back of the sketchbook and can't remember what's in the sketchbook most of the time since I go through 1 to 2 sketchbooks a year and sometimes up to 3. And so I never know what to find in there. So that's sketchbook number 19. All right, till next time, Darklings.